Welcome back, and I'm feeling lucky to be alive right now. Just a bit ago, I went out for a drive to clear my head a little, and clear my head a little. Let's just leave it at that. And on my way back, I encountered a pair of drivers who decided that going 70 and occasionally veering into the other lanes was perfectly safe and sane driving. Apparently, the Highway Patrol in Northern California also thinks that's safe and sane driving because they made it through or made it past a few officers while doing that. Thank you, NorCal. You know how to put safety in driver safety. But that aside, finally on to this fabled gaming episode that I've been talking about. Now, what I wanted to talk about, not a specific game, but actually a specific character. Namely, one of my favorite characters of all time. No, it's not Aerith, who is easily my favorite video game character, just because she's so fun. Although we have a lot of close competition with the Persona 3 and Persona 4 protagonists, you and Minato, if you want to give them those names, plus Ricky and Dunban and a few of the Xenogears ones. So there are some good ones, but no, this is a very specific one. See, how long ago? About a week ago, I was watching H.C. Bailey's Final Fantasy V Let's Play. And Final Fantasy V has a character called Gilgamesh, who is the dragon, or basically the toughest bruiser for the main character, for the main boss. Only Gilgamesh wishes he was that. He's really a bit of a joke character, even though he portrays himself as the biggest bad. Unlike, say, Buffy's Spike, who is the big bad, no matter what, because, man, he is awesome. Definitely one of the more entertaining characters on Buffy, but like Gilgamesh is one of the better characters in Final Fantasy V, and he's also in Final Fantasy VIII and 12, and possibly one of the 13 sequels. I'm iffy on that, but I know they have a tribute to Ultros Earthos in that game, so hopefully Gilgamesh too, because Gilgamesh is definitely one of the funnest characters. And yes, he is the same exact character in 8 and 12. It's all due to the weird power of the void, and if you play Dissidia, it makes even more sense how well he matches up into those games. And it's just, he's a really fun character, and definitely one of the more iconic ones from Final Fantasy V. Especially since he comes paired with one of the most awesome soundtracks of all time, if the song Clash on the Big Bridge. If I want to subject this video to copyright violations and spend all night doing audio editing, I'd have Clash on the Big Bridge playing in the background right now. I don't want to do any of that, so I'll just link it in the description. It is easily one of the most rocking soundtracks. Nobuo Uematsu really did a great job of that one. That is definitely one of the best. It got remastered in Final Fantasy XII to one of my favorite versions. I even have a copy of MP3 of the version done by Uematsu's rock band, the Black Mages, and it just keeps getting better and better. That if I were at a Final Fantasy concert, that would be one of the number one songs I'd want to hear. Up there with the opera and Fisherman's Horizon, Aerith's theme, a lot of really good ones that that exist. But definitely Clash on the Big Bridge. That would definitely be one of the coolest, because it's just so good, and it's with this really good character. And in the PlayStation first translation that the US got, we got to see how funny of a character he was. Like earlier fan translations, you got to feel that he is a really good, goofy character. They kept that going in all of his future appearances. The Game Boy Advance version, he gets a Power Rangers reference, very overt Power Rangers reference. Just got a lot. I mean, it's like they're trying to top Ted Woolsey's translation. Son of a Submariner, man, they gave it the best shot, those spoony bards. But you can't really top Ted Woolsey. You can't top his crazy translations that if they were done today were likely fueled by Starbucks and 5-hour energy. So, man, if he got to do 5, that Gilgamesh would definitely have a line along. Well, I gave you 2 of them out of many good Ted Woolsey lines. I mean, the fact that when they retranslated it, gave him "it's morphing time" as one of his big declarations. It's just so good. And then his appearance in 8 was really cool. He if you got the Odin summon, Odin shows up in one of your rival battles and gets killed. But Odin's sword goes flying off, and at the end of the battle, Gilgamesh catches it, shows up, finishes the battle for you, and is just he's your replacement. He's not as good as Odin, but man, it's Gilgamesh, so who really cares? Plus, it really fits in with his character and his persona, which I mentioned a bit later. And in 12, he's a wandering swordsman that you fight a lot and get some of the best gear from the game. And oh wait, that's just like how he was in 5, where you can get all of the Genji gear from him, just like in 12. So that's really cool. Plus, he's voiced for the first time in that. And who did they choose to voice him? The same voice actor who does Bender from Futurama or Jake the Dog from Adventure Time. Take your pick. So, yeah, they get a really good voice actor for him. He shows up again as a playable character in Dissidia, which is really cool because it's the first time he's playable. Plus, his little bit of story is chasing around Bart's Squall and Vaughn and trying to fight them a bit. He also, who is it? Zidane, whatever his name is, he's also there because there's a Gilgamesh in 9, but it's not the same. Definitely not the same. At least in my opinion. But and he has just a lot of keeps his really goofy persona, and it's really fun. Another part of his persona too is he's a sword collector. In 5, he's out to get the legendary Excalibur. He ends up getting the Excalibur, which deals 1 damage no matter what. So he equips it mid-battle, and it's essentially game over because you're hitting him for thousands of points of damage at the time, and he's only hitting you for 1, all while trying to figure out how to turn on his sword to make it work right. It's pretty funny. And in 8, he has a set of different, very different attacks where it depends on what one of 4 weapons he chooses. Excalibur is 1, Excalibur is 1, the Zentetsuken from Odin is 1, and then I don't remember what the 4th one is. I think it could be like just a chicken knife, medium range sort of thing. I really don't remember what the 4th one is. I just know those 4. And it shows up yet again in 12 with a whole new set of swords. Each of them with the word fake branded on them. The swords in his collection are the Buster Sword from 7, Squall's Gunblade, his basic revolver Gunblade. What's that one? The Brotherhood from 10. Got that one from Titus. And Loto's Sword from a Dragon Quest game. So he's been around a bit out between 8 and 12. Really fun character like that. And what I was thinking when I was watching the Let's Play, and thinking of how cool and fun Gilgamesh is, he should have a solo game. One where he's just going around to different universes and interacting with them, because that's his character now, and it's really fun and cool the way he does it. And it just makes this good, like, better than Kingdom Hearts crossover. Although I have various issues with Kingdom Hearts, and honestly, none of them stem from the way they use the Final Fantasy characters or the way they use the Disney characters. And it'd be like a similar to Dissidia crossover sort of thing, like all Square Enix sort of characters. And what I think is, like, the game could be like a Legend of Zelda style one, where you're going around, go into the dungeons, collect the weapons. You're fighting Final Fantasy style monsters, or even Dragon Quest style monsters. Don't know any other major Square Enix titles that he'd fit into. Sure, throw him into Deus Ex style stuff. That would be weird. Or into the new Tomb Raider. That would be even weirder. But yeah, no, definitely no. But give him like the good action adventure style sort of thing. I was thinking, like, honestly, gameplay wise, like a Onimusha style game. That would definitely fit, like, his character, and just changing up what weapons he uses. Like, he has to equip the Buster Sword to get through here, but that won't serve him, so he has to switch over to Brotherhood, or go over to the Ultima weapon from Final Fantasy VI, because that was one of their big swords, or an Excalibur, or this and that from the other games. And just you'd have that sort of elemental based or stat based system. And of course, you'd have to pull, in the end, the final boss can only be defeated by the Excalibur, and just be a real big send up of of that joke involving him always coveting the crappiest weapon in the entire game. So it'd be a... I don't know, I was thinking that, and honestly, when I kept trying to come up with how that sort of idea would work, Metroid kept coming into my head for some reason. I'm like, how would he fit into an exploration game like that? No. Definitely more like a... like Legend of Zelda style puzzles, Onimusha style like hack and slash, heck, even if they did like a Dynasty Warriors Final Fantasy, I'd love him as a good playable character because his weapon selection would just be really funny for that game. And I mean, heck, Hyrule Warriors was an amazing game, and so much content in that. Yeah, see, there you go. Zelda, a good play style that would fit with Gilgamesh, and that. It's like, he's a really fun character. I mean, and I know he's just like one of these weird side characters that shouldn't get his own game, but, Tingle got a game. We're just going to leave it at that and never mention it ever again. At the same time, Waluigi doesn't have a game, and that should have Nintendo brought up on crimes against humanity charges because Waluigi deserves a game. Actually, the way Nintendo's built his character, it's hard to figure out what he'd do. Until I heard an idea on Proton John's stream, the type of game he would make for Waluigi. He described the most bizarre avant-garde game. Every single possible genre as a different level, and it's like, that would be a Waluigi game that somehow involves golf, kart racing, tennis, platforming, micro games, everything. That would definitely be a Waluigi game. And if you've seen the Runaway Guys, Fortune Street, especially their very first board that they did, Waluigi's Bridal Boutique, it fits with Waluigi's character too. So it's like, you could have some good games with some of these characters. And I mean, we got Gilgamesh and Dissidia, and yes, all of his attacks were based off of his moves, and even had an Excalibur attack, which, good there. But I'd like to see him in a solo game because he's really funny, and heck, you have Bender as his voice, so how can you say no to wanting to have more Bender? And it'd just be really fun, and he could easily visit all the different like Final Fantasy worlds, or even a couple of the Dragon Quest stuff. That'd be, like I said, that'd be a really cool idea. It's just a dungeon exploration, but hack and slash combat. And oh man, I just got another thought. He'd work in an Okami style game. That would be really cool, because you look at how Okami was built, was like she had all these different stages of weapons that you built up from, and a lot of exploration, puzzles, but also very good, solid combat system. Wow, actually, going with Onimusha and Okami, that's 2 Capcom, if I'm not mistaken. Well, although Platinum for Clover, or however you're going to argue for Okami, but Gilgamesh should definitely fit in that style game, especially because Okami had that really bizarre humor with a lot of really good references, that sort of stuff, and that would be a Gilgamesh game for dang sure. he would fit into a style of game like that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's and this is the video for today. My thoughts on a Gilgamesh game, a bit of thoughts on the Waluigi thing. What other sort of like secondary characters would you like to see in a game yourselves? Waluigi is definitely like top on many people's wish list. He'd be a really fun one to have a solo game. Oh god, anyone? Who else? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head right like this. Like, I'd like to see Midna have something, but I'd just like to have her back in a game. She was definitely my favorite. Princess Twilight. I mean, Twilight Princess. Like you didn't see that joke coming. But yeah, of all the Ouija game, a Gilgamesh game, not necessarily a Midna game. Just have her back. a Ricky game where you go around being Hero Bond. That would be really fun. They're just these wacky guest and supporting side characters that could have a game. And anyone else out there who has their opinion on who could have one, I'd like to hear them. It's an interesting field, and it can lead to some interesting discussions. So leave your opinions to those below. Check out the link in the description to go to a Clash on the Big Bridge. That is easily one of the best tracks in all of Final Fantasy, which is saying a lot because there are a lot of amazing tracks. Aside from that, have a good day and see you around.